my little calendar. Granted, I probably should have done that before going live. That's okay. Okay. Do this. I haven't done a live in forever.
You could say something to.
There we go. Now I'm going live on both platforms. Okie dokie. And I'm just going to pull up Reddit. All right. Go stories. Not now. And gotta get some spooky music playing. Hi, Kim. How are you? Thanks for joining me over here on this side. Oh, gosh. I'm trying to get some music going. Fine. Okay. So hopefully the music isn't so loud, but let me know if it is. So this is called The Building Anyhow. In 1999, I started working as a designer at 8500 Holloway Drive. It's now an empty lot, but it used to have two buildings, formerly homes in the 20s. At some point, I was told it was a brothel. In the 60s, it was owned by a psychologist who allegedly held LSD parties with hippies and rockers that hung out at Barney's Beanery down the street. Supposedly, Jimi Hendrix also crashed there. Let's see, where was I? The two buildings were connected by a bridge that my bosses and former building owners built, and the main building had a basement type area where the design team worked. I feel like this phone keeps swinging a lot. Okay. Oh, JK, you're too nice. Stop. That's too nice of you. Okay. Let's see, where was I? The main building had a basement type, and it had been renovated to accommodate a conference room, boss's office, tiny room for the assistant, and an office space that was rented to a PR agency. The basement had a back door that opened to the backyard with an even lower area that the artist rented out for a studio and a giant old avocado tree. The second building lower area was rented to a photographer, and the main level floor functioned as photo studios, kitchen, and another computer room. The second building was avoided by everyone. No one liked it to begin with. It was uncomfortable, it felt anxious, and it was always cold. And there was an area where I was, the design dungeon, as we jokingly called it, where I experienced several things. I mean, I can't explain it, but everyone joked that it was haunted because it was there's a weird past of things that were found in the storage area, like a specimen of jars, which that didn't really help either. I mean, I laughed with everybody off like a joke and didn't think much of it until this one night. I stayed late using the production table to cut and glue a preset for my boyfriend. It got late as I was distracted and lost track of time. I started hearing footsteps upstairs, and then I said, I wonder who came back. As I checked the clock, it was 9 p.m. I started cleaning up the things, but then the footsteps started getting louder. Right above my head, then I heard the telltale sound of my boss's chair creaking and rolling across the wooden floor. Now, I yelled up the stairs, "Hello," and the noise stopped. I went back to my task thinking, and I was being very silly, and I was thinking to myself, like, I'm just imagining things. The footsteps started walking around. I ran to the stairs and yelled, "Who's there? This isn't funny." I looked into the dark office and stood still, waiting for someone or something to move. I'm losing it, I thought. I went downstairs to finish cleaning up. Thank you so much for the heart, John's Crypt. Thank you. That's so nice of you. Thank you so much. Now, I went downstairs to finish cleaning up, and the footsteps started running back and forth from the front door to over my head repeatedly. I left everything where it was and raced upstairs and out the door, setting the alarm as fast as possible. Then waited for a couple minutes in the parking spots for someone to come out, but no one came. Then the parking spots were empty except for me. I brushed it off for weeks. I was tired of something. I was maybe tired or something. Then one day, everyone goes outside for a break, but I needed to finish something and stayed at my computer. The next thing I know, a woman's voice whispered in my left ear in a throaty, seductive tone, "I'll be right back." I spun around so fast to see nothing behind me. I jumped out of my chair and ran outside and saw my coworkers. "Are you okay? You look pale." "The buildings are gone now, so I hope whatever was there moved on too." Okay, that is very spooky. Thank you for the break. Oh, that's so nice of you, John's Crypt. Seriously, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I noticed that the stand is very wiggly, so I don't know what's up with that. There we go. I can see you guys now. That was interesting, right? I don't know. That was pretty spooky. I haven't done a live, so this feels great. I've been kind of MIA. I've been mostly focusing on, I mean, October was very busy for me. Like I'd gone and done a lot of things and, with um, doing a lot of stuff and my dog had passed. I just wanted to take a quick hiatus for myself. So I haven't really been focusing on a lot of content for the month of November. However, if you are on the YouTube side, I do want to make an announcement. I made a video on YouTube. You should check it out. I know Kim watched it. Thank you so much for watching it, Kim. Um, but I made a video on YouTube where I compared 4 different paranormal investigators who had gone to the Conjuring house. And it's a really interesting footage because I compared like 2 TV shows and 2 YouTube groups that had gone to the Conjuring house at different times with different skill sets and different belief systems. And it's really interesting that there was a lot of similarities. So if you are interested in watching that footage, I do have it over on my YouTube. So you can make sure to check that out. I really would appreciate a view and a like if you can. I'm really trying to make more long format videos, especially with like the paranormal. I've been making a lot of paranormal content on the TikTok side for a while now, but not longevity, like long format wise. So if you guys really like that stuff and you're curious to see, like, do paranormal investigators get the same type of evidence, really recommend you check it out. Um, and you give me feedback, the more the merrier. I don't know why there we go. The more the merrier. But I would love to hear feedback. And thank you, Kim. It was an awesome video. Thank you, Kim. Oh, I'm so sorry about your dog's loss. Is the doll behind you Peggy? Like, no, it's not. That's a good one, Kim, though. I can see why you would think that. No, oh, you're talking about like the Raggedy Ann. Here, I'll move the camera upward. I don't know. Actually, I found this in a thrift store. And I did think of that too, like the haunted doll stuff. No, it's not. I wish, but no, I saw the Raggedy Ann and they don't make them anymore. They're really rare. So I got one. And then the other thing next to it is another Raggedy Ann, but it's a REM pod. So I actually got to use this REM pod at the Queen Mary in October, and I haven't put the footage together, which I should. I know I need to get on it. Um, but I've been really taking the time to really look through my footage because I got so much stuff. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you so much. Yeah, check it out. Let me know what you think. I wanna hear people's feedback on it. I will be doing more of those videos where I compare each paranormal investigator or person that's gone to a haunted location, because it's interesting, right? Like, not everybody watches other people's footage all the time, especially, like, I know I haven't, like, when I've gone to Leonis Adobe. I didn't even know anyone else who had gone there. There isn't a lot of footage or people that went there, but I will be doing a video on that too, comparing like what we gathered versus what another team got. Um, Netflix, Kim says, "By the way, Netflix added a documentary on the Warrens." Ooh, I'll have to watch that. Thank you. Um, JK's 80s horror fan says, "I have 4 dogs now, 3. Happy Thanksgiving. I always wanted to go to Queen Mary." Well, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving too. Yeah, that was an interesting experience. So for the month of October, and I think they're still doing them, but my husband and I went to the Queen Mary, and I weirdly enough, you guys, there was a fire. The fire alarm was sounded off at the Queen Mary when we were there, and we had some other strange things happen too. Um, Again, I can't wait to put that footage together and share it with you guys. I will be posting it more so over on the YouTube side. So it's worth checking me out over there. You seen which one is your favorite Conjuring? Like, what would you say is your favorite Conjuring movie? Or which one out of all of them? I know that might be a hard question, but yeah, it's a whole franchise, and I saw The Nun. I know that's, like, part of, like, the universe. Not the same, like, thing, but I saw the most recent one that was really good too. Oh, yeah, the Queen Mary was good. We also went to, oh gosh, I'm trying to blank now. I have some footage that I also wanted to share from Tombstone, Arizona. Um, Conjuring 2, the second Conjuring, okay, that's a good one, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I wanna do, like, a whole, like I need to rewatch all of them again, um, because it's been a minute since I've done that, but the new Insidious film was really good. It's on Netflix too, yeah, it was really good. Well, Brandon says it was straight to part 2, yep. There you go, there you go. Um, yeah, I just feel like the month of October was a lot, you guys, so I don't know, but if there's anything you guys want me to do a video on or any haunted locations, because I really wanna do this continue the series of where I go and watch different people go to these haunted locations and compare them side by side. Um, Amityville is one of them, The Conjuring, Queen Mary is up there, the Wasilla Axe Murder House is up there, um, so there's a couple of different spots. Yes, Kim, thank you, the Amityvilles. Yeah, I think that might be, like, the second one on my list because that one is, like, a very controversial haunted location, and I'm curious to see, like, what people gathered from that. Yeah, there's a whole interesting backstory to that. Okay, so I'm gonna read another story. This one is The Year-Long Hauntings of Ithaca, I don't wanna mispronounce it, I feel like I'm gonna say it really wrong. Uh,
Itasca.
Itasca. Itasca Hall. Okay, The Year-Long Hauntings of the Itasca Hall. So while attending college, myself and a few buddies decided to visit Trout Lake Norwegian Cemetery in Coraline as we were bored and had a few stories online stating that there was a haunted cemetery near us where a witch was buried. The post said her name was Bertha Maynard and that she was killed in the late 1800s for being a witch because her crops were better than all the other crops in the area. We got there around 1 a.m. and struggled to find the grave, even though the cemetery was small with only 30 graves or so. After walking around for a while, we eventually found her grave, but it was down a small hill near the lake and away from all the other graves in the cemetery. The grave looked like it had been damaged, and all that was visible was her last name on the bottom of the grave. Please don't vandalize people's graves. It's disrespectful, and it's somebody's ancestor. Disclaimer is what we say. Apparently his grave was stolen once and found in a nearby lake after some high school seniors were out there drinking. After we found the grave, I whipped out my phone and started recording a video trying to act like the ghost adventure people. I started asking questions and then asked Bertha, "Please come forward and present yourself. Prove to the townspeople that you are not a witch." And after I said this, wind chimes started to go off at the next closest grave behind me. I thought this was so cool, so I started to film them, and when my camera finally focused in on them, they came to a screeching halt and stopped making noise. At this point, my buddy says, "Whoa, it's not even windy enough for the wind chimes to go off." And shortly after we left the cemetery and went back home, we didn't expect that was what was to follow for the next year. Let me know if I should share the video and if I should share parts 2 through 9. Oh, interesting. The wind chimes. I Okay, so I think I've shared this story a few times, but I'll share it anyway in case people haven't heard the story. Um, the Annabelle doll, no, J-Dread, it's not, but I can see why. I found this at a thrift store. It's not haunted or anything like that, but yes, this is what the Annabelle doll would look like. Good eye. But yeah, when I was at the Stanley Hotel, this is one of like my haunted, I would say one of my few, well, I've had a few haunted experiences at the Stanley, or this is the haunted experience, I would say. When I was living in Denver back in like 2000, well, I lived there for close to a decade, but this was back in 2000 and, oh, I don't know, 13, 2012. It was a while ago. I had gone to the Stanley Hotel. If you don't know what that is, that's where The Shining was filmed. Well, the inspiration of this hotel is what inspired The Shining and the Stephen King novel. And Stephen King allegedly had haunted experiences at the Stanley. So anyway, you can go visit this hotel if you're ever in Estes Park, Colorado. But we had gone and we walked around. We checked in our room and we started walking around the halls. I don't think you can do that anymore because of the fact that so many people have gone there and done bad things. So if you ever go, be respectful. But we'd walked around the halls and it was around like, I don't know, 10 o'clock. No one was really out and about. And we were trying to be very quiet, very respectful. And one of the hallways, I want to say it was the very top floor. We had looked at the very end of the hallway and there's like a door to like a balcony. And keep in mind that if you ever do go to the Stanley, almost each end of the hall has a doorway to an exit balcony, but they keep it locked for the most part. Not really anything to really hang out with or anything, but there's like an end to there's a doorway at the end of every hall. And I had gone towards this one part of the hotel where there was a secret stairway. And I think this was used for like the servants, the maids, and stuff. So they weren't not like they could sneak upstairs and then back downstairs in a very efficient manner. And anyway, so I was heading towards that area and I saw the door swing open and shut really rapidly. And I'm like, this is very interesting. And when I turned around to look at my ex boyfriend who was with me, I looked at him and I said, "Do you see that? It's probably the wind." But when I was about to turn, when I turned to look at him, the door stopped abruptly. It kind of felt like Looney Tunes style, like Tom and Jerry style. Like whenever you look away, the activity would stop. And then when you look at it, it would start back up again. Like I tried it a few different times, and every time I looked at it, it kept going and going and going. Every time I would look away, it would stop. So I thought that was really weird. My ex at the time was like, "Oh my God, it's just the wind." I'm like, "All right, fine." So then the following day, we do a tour, and when we're doing the tour, it was actually windier that day. It was a high wind warning and everything. It was way windier. We had done a tour. We passed by the area that we were at, and it turns out that the wind was not affecting the door opening and closing. Isn't that interesting, you guys? Is that I went into what they called a back room before. Interesting. One second, you guys. Let me shut the door. I've only played the first two. Yes, the first two. I haven't played that many of the games to be honest. I played like the first two and it was a lot, really scary and I enjoyed it. This was actually one of my friends. She got to go to Universal Studios for the month of October and they did an activation and so she went and they had these and she got me one. It was really fun. But overall, I loved what I have played. I know there's, like, a whole intricate storyline and different characters and stuff. Um, I saw the movie, and even though I played, like, the first 2, I would say that the movie I don't know if anyone watched the movie, I'm not gonna ruin it, but I will say that the movie if you play the game, I don't think people are gonna really like the movie, I'll just say that. Like, maybe, like, you'll halfway like it. Um But I understand the direction of why they did that, but yeah. I do have pets, I do, I have 2 cats, and I have a puppy now. I used to have another puppy, but he recently passed away. Oh, sorry, let me read this. The Insidious film is on Netflix. Kim says you should do one on the Amityville House. Thank you. I heard the Belle of Louisville is haunted. Interesting, JK. I think Amy's Crypt did one. Oh, yes, she has a lot of great content, Amy's Crypt. I believe she's like a paranormal investigator and she's gone to all these locations. I've seen some of her videos and I actually thought about using some of her footage to comparing it when I do this series of comparing different paranormal investigators going into haunted locations. The movie, yeah, like, I'm sure since I could tell that you probably play, like, almost all of them or played all of them, I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. They play fight, aw. At least they play fight, though. They get along. Kim says, "I liked Annabelle Goes Home, also love The Nun 2 more than the first film." I heard that too, so I'll admit, I never got to watch the first Nun, but I got invited to a screening for the second one, and I really enjoyed it, and, I guess, so there's somebody I knew, they got to go to France and go to where they filmed that location. Apparently, there's, like, all these, like, scary stories. Maybe I should do a video on that because I had no idea. I mean, I'm not surprised, but I had no idea that they did that, and so I might do a story time on that. This chair keeps making a lot of noises, sorry, guys. Alright, let me read another scary or not scary, but, like, ghost story. Speaking of dogs, there's this one. This one is called Dog/House Sitting Haunt. Preface, I used to dog sit, and when it got too much, I passed it to my sister with all of my previous clients. My sister was a house dog sitting for one of my old clients. That week, I had gotten my car serviced in the city I worked in. I lived in a different city 30 miles away, and my sister and I worked together. We decided to drop off my car, and I would stay with her, and then we would go to work together. The house she was sitting always gave me very creepy vibes. Even when I was there alone, it has this like weird flair that makes it feel like someone is at the top just watching you. The guest bedroom was upstairs where the floor was. I would sleep on the couch because it gave me like the heebie. It was just always a weird feeling inside the house, and it's built in an old town in California. So this day we were downstairs. There's the kitchen, the living room, and the foyer. The thing is by the front door, but still, um, the foyer thing is by the front door, but still King of Peaks over above us. Yes, this house is huge and very beautiful. We hung out downstairs, made food, and ultimately ended up falling asleep on the couch. My sister slept on one side, and I slept on the other part. It's like an L-shaped. Basically, I couldn't sleep with sleeping unless I popped my body up to look. It was early day for work. We had to be in the office by 7:50. Of course, meaning we had to wake up early. My alarm didn't go off yet, and I heard so much commotion in the kitchen. It's like right behind the couch. The sink was turning on and off, pots and pans clattering, almost as if somebody was cleaning the kitchen. And I was thinking my sister had gotten up before to feed the dog and give herself some more time to get ready. I was half asleep and didn't say anything because I'm a firm believer of getting every minute and second of sleep until my alarm goes off. Okay, I think we can all, I know I'm like that too. I'm like, I will knock it out until the alarm goes off. When I heard her alarm and saw her waking up, I immediately woke up because in my mind, she was already awake and making the noises in the kitchen. Turns out she was never awake and in the kitchen, but that was the first time she woke up. I asked her if she woke up earlier and did anything in the kitchen, and of course, she said no. To this day, it freaks me out. I almost wish I got up and turned around to see what was going on, but also terrified of seeing anything. Unless the old dog got in the mood to clean the kitchen, I have no idea what that was. Heebie-jeebies are confirmed. Yes, 11/11. Oh, make a wish. That is spooky. That is very spooky. I've seen some of these stories also on this thread where, like, they're half asleep, but they're hearing noises, and I can see why one would think, like, "Okay, well, they were half asleep and maybe they were hearing things," but I don't know, that's still kinda scary. The one that I saw on here a while ago, but I haven't seen it well, I haven't seen another story like it in a minute, was when there was this guy was staying over at his girlfriend's house, and he woke up because he heard his, like, girlfriend going to the bathroom, and, when he, like We went back to bed and turned around, and he's like, "Wait, my girlfriend is right next to me, so who's in the bathroom?" And it looked like his girlfriend. I don't know, that was creepy. I have seen gameplay of them, and I'm currently playing, the 4th one because that's my all-time favorite. Oh, well, I'll have to look into that one. Do you have any I do actually. I went to the screening for that Norman Reedus spinoff, for, like, AMC Walking Dead spinoff, let me look up the name. Yeah, AMC Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. Like, I saw the first 2 I think it was the first 2 episodes that they showed us. So, so good. If you haven't seen it, you totally should. Really, really good. I'm not sure what other shows you recommend, but I really do enjoy that one. Um, if you do, Shudder has a film my friends recommend. I wanna watch Where Evil Lurks. Oh, Where Evil Lurks. Yeah, let me add that to the list. But yeah, the Daryl Dixon one is so good. I don't Please don't skip on it. It is very good, I promise you guys. Like, it's one of those shows where, like, I didn't realize that we watched 2 episodes. Um, oops, Evil Lurks, he said. I'm just writing it down. You're gonna have to add the video to my list. Yeah, it was so the one with Daryl Dixon, I don't wanna spoil it too much, but the premise is in France. He ends up in France. It's so good. Again, we, like, didn't realize we watched 2 episodes. A lot of people were like, "Wait, that was 2 episodes?" So that's when you know it's a good sign when you're literally like, "Oh my god, I watched this much footage," and it just went by really fast. I love Dead City with Maggie and Negan. Oh, I didn't know that there was that one either. I know there's, like, a lot of different, like, Walking Dead stuff. Um, yeah. Hopefully I can't type in here for some reason. Okay, well, it's here at least. Um Yeah, let's see what other stories there is. Give me a second, you guys. I mean, that one was good. I'm upvoting the story. Um, all right. This one has over 100 upvotes on Reddit. So we're gonna have to read this one. 115 to be exact. Someone said hello to my young daughter. This just happened 2 nights ago. I live in a multi-generational house with my husband, his parents, and our daughter, who's a little under 2 years old. We share the main living spaces. My husband's parents have bedrooms on the main floor, and my husband, daughter, and I have an open concept bedroom office on the top floor. I had to take a swig. Sorry, guys. 2 nights ago, my husband and his parents left for a music concert. They were performing at around 4:15 p.m. My daughter and I were supposed to join them, but could not because she had gotten feverishly sick the day before. So I popped her on a comfy chair next to me in our office space and tried to get some work done. And suddenly, at around 4:30, I heard a nondescript male voice from down the stairwell. I couldn't make out what was said. I thought maybe someone had come back because they forgot something. They didn't come upstairs though, so I figured they didn't want to disturb us and left again. So then 5 minutes later, I hear a clear, crisp hello come from the stairwell, a deeper toned male voice. No one came up the stairs, so I went and checked over the balcony edge this time. No one was there, and I couldn't hear any activity coming from downstairs. I went back upstairs, sat down again at my front desk. I heard the voice in the stairwell again. It said my daughter's first name. She seemed preoccupied with some toys, and she didn't look up. I went and checked the stairwell again and yelled, "Hello?" down the stairs, but there was no response. I sit down again and we continue playing and working. The voice suddenly spoke again and said my daughter's middle name. It sounded like it was up in the room with us now. My daughter turned and looked in the direction it seemed to come from, then went back to playing with her little stuffies. I sent a text to my husband, who luckily was going to be home in a few minutes to pick something up. When he got home, we checked the house up and down, and I knew no one was in the house, though. This wasn't our first rodeo with this weird shit in this house before. Okay, that is scary, you guys. That is scary. I'm upvoting that. I'm upvoting that. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Someone in the comments said, "Don't acknowledge it from the experiences that I read. It's very creepy." Someone else said, "It was a tough call. I had to figure out if there was an intruder, even though I knew it was very unlikely." Oh my God. All right. So, yeah, that is very interesting. Now, okay, I understand like someone's telling you to be very cautious, like don't acknowledge it. And I've shared the story too. If you've been on my lives, you probably heard it before. If not, no worries. Um, but I've had something similar happen to me. So when I was like very young, I lived in a house. I lived in this house in Minnesota, and I was on the second floor. I shared a room with my sisters, and I have two older sisters for context. One of them worked at a Chuck E. Cheese about 30, 45 minutes away. My sister at the time was cleaning the closet. I was getting ready for bed. Now, at this time, we didn't have like cell phones the way we do now. Like, everything was landline. Um, and we didn't really have like a tape recorder or anything like that. Like a standalone tape recorder that you would have out and about. And this is going to be very important as I continue the story. So I was sitting there, we had the window open, it was a second floor, and something said my name 3 times. And it sounded like my sister who was working at the Chuck E. Cheese. Now, my other sister cleaning the closet heard the same thing. We both looked out the window, no one was there. We went outside, no one was there. And we called her job because we're really worried. Like, wait a minute, we both heard our sister, but she's not home. Her car is nowhere in sight. Like, what's up, right? Like, how did her voice appear from outside the window? So we called her job. Her boss picks up. The store, Chuck E. Cheese is closed. And he's like, "Is this emergency?" We say yes because we need to talk to her and make sure that she is there and she's okay. So they hand the phone to her. She's in the bathroom cleaning and she wants to get off the phone. And so till this day, we don't know what it was. And fast forward after like all this time that has passed, my sister and I revisit the story and she's like, "Well, wait a minute. I thought she said my name." I'm like, "No, no, no. She said my name." So we both agreed that it sounded like our sister who wasn't there, but whatever it was saying one another's names to grab our attention. These stories are really interesting. I 100% believe when people say, "I've heard something," and yeah, I don't know, but we did acknowledge it. Nothing bad happened. Not saying that it won't to you, but I don't know. Interesting stuff, right? Okay. Have you ever passed by a house? Kim says, "Have you ever passed by a house and felt like a dark energy or felt like it was evil without ever going inside it?" There was this one we always passed, and I told my parents that I felt like that you felt that it was. Ooh, that you felt that it was evil. Okay. Okay, well, yes, but let me pause real quick. Yes, we have. Oh, thank you, Brandon. Um, so I remember when we were looking for a house in Denver, um, we had gone to multiple houses and like the realtor, he was really good friends with my husband. And so we would go and look at houses at night. And if we really liked the layout, we would come back during the day to get a better look at it. But this was just like the fastest way to like look at a house and maybe like put some type of like, bid for it. So this one time we had gone to this house and I felt very interesting, like off energy from it, right? At first I was like, okay, whatever, it's nothing. But to like simplify the story a little bit more, when we all went inside, checked the house, like no one said anything at the time. It wasn't until we got back in the car that everyone was like, did anyone feel like these off vibes? And like I felt it arriving there, but like going inside and everything and everyone feeling it, like that was really interesting. Um, Now I recently got to go to, Pete Monzingo's house, and if you don't know who that is, he does YouTube, he does TikTok, he does a lot of fun content with his family and his mom, but he's once in a while done content on the Cecil Hotel because he lives right across the street from it, and I remember as a kid, because my sister didn't live too far away from that area, we passed it a few times whenever we would leave that area and go visit a family or something, and I felt off energy, and then, of course, later I found out that was a Cecil hotel, but going back to, like, his apartment because he lives across the street from the Cecil hotel, you can just feel the energy of that place. So I do think that, like, certain spaces have this, like, energy to it. You can just feel it whether you realize it or not. Um, Hopefully that helps. Okay, I can go back to the music. I, like, paused it to, like, think here. Let me see. I haven't done a lot of these in a minute, so it's kinda interesting going back in the thread and reading some of these. Um, this one is called "When I Was 18, I had a visit from a ghost." So I'm a 47-year-old woman, and when I was 15, I had a visit from a ghost. I was home alone with my mom, and she went to the convenience store about a mile down the road. My dad was at work, and my younger brother was out with friends, and I was in my bedroom with the door open reading a book. My mom was gone, maybe like in half an hour while she was gone, but I heard a female voice call my name. I thought she had gotten back and called me, so I asked what she wanted. The voice called my name again, and I asked again what she wanted. Then I realized my mom had gone to the store, so I got up to look out the window to see if the car was in the driveway, but it wasn't. Um, as I'm looking out the window, I hear my name again, and at this point, I am freaking out. The layout of the house, when entering the house, you walk into the dining room area, and you go to the left, and down the hall, you come to my room. Then my brother's room and my parents' room is across the hall from my room. If going to the right, you if going to the right, you enter the kitchen, which is in the center of the house. Next to the kitchen was what we called the Florida room, and beyond the kitchen was the den. Now, as I'm freaking out, I hear my name again, and I realize I am alone. I slowly walk to the kitchen, looking around to see if anyone was home other than me, but I realized I was alone. I walked in the kitchen, standing in the den, and there was a young female, a teenager dressed in what I could guess was 50s clothes. She was a solid form with long brown hair, a white blouse, dress pants, and saddle shoes. I'm standing in the kitchen and I'm shocked, freaking out, and she said my name once more and then faded away in front of me. All I could do was just stand there, and then 5 minutes later, my mom pulls up into the driveway. I never saw her again. Oh, bye, Brandon. Well, thanks for joining. Okay, that is very spooky. You know what's really interesting that you asked that, Kim? So when I decided to start like practicing my psychic mediumship skills, and even like the psychic side came a lot earlier than the medium side came. Um, I remember that when I met my mentor, she really believed that I had always had the ability as a kid. It's just that like I would always shut it out, which makes sense because I was really afraid of anything under the sun. I was like always anxiety, everything scared me, everything, and I would feel energy, but I'd never thought anything of it. And again, like the most earliest memory was when that experience with like something mimicking my sister's voice and stuff, but my other sister saw it too or heard it too. So I don't know. I think that's a complex question because I don't remember a lot of it, but I've had people time and time again in my life bring that up. And yesterday I had gone to what they call a misa. So I was a guest on this podcast, and I can't wait for when the episode rolls out. But it's called Brujo 101, and I met one of the co-hosts. Her name is Tanya, and she does readings. She does santeria and everything. And she invited me to what they call their misa. And basically, what it is that you sit in a circle. You do wear white, anything that isn't black. You're not supposed to wear black to that. And they basically do like prayers and readings, and they have this book, and, like, I mean, forgive me because 'cause I'm not, like, the most versed in this stuff, but, I mean, I have some fundamental knowledge from, like, what I grew up with and, like, what I was told as a kid that stem from that, but I'm not, like, super immersed and, like, that's all I do and type of thing. But anyway, they have this book with, like, these prayers, and you're supposed to, like, open it, like, basically, like, open it 3 times really fast, grab a page and just point to something. And we were in a dim, I think this was a dim light at this point, and I pointed at something, and then, like, the lady grabbed the book, and it literally said the spiritualist or, like, the psychic. And it says in the verse, like, "You've always been a psychic since you were a kid." I'm like, "Interesting." I don't know, so I would say that, like, I was a very sensitive kid, but I didn't really know what that was until very much later in my life. I wanna say when I started tapping into this stuff, I was in my early 20s, but when I think I got a full grasp of it was maybe, like, 25, 26. And even now, like, it's a whole 'nother transition with it, like, it comes in ebb and flows. Um, so yeah, it's been an interesting journey, but yeah, hopefully that answers the question. And I think that's part of, like, why I do what I do, like, offline too, like, so I host, like, in-person psychic development, circles in the LA County area, in different parts of LA County, and, um, it's been a really awesome experience, and that's why I always tell people, like, this is a journey, that the more you tap into it, the more you'll start to really understand, like, your own intuition and, all these things about it. Thank you. Thank you, Callie. Okay, I'm gonna upvote that one. That one was good. It was another voice one. Interesting, right? Like another voice story, like voice mimicking story. Have you had your intuition oops, this little, like, emoji emoji, have you ever have you had your intuition about something show up in readings? Oh, like, have I ever been right like, my own intuition kick in my own readings um or, like, when I was receiving a message, like, pick up my own intuition? Sorry, can you clarify? Sorry. Um, because if I think I know what you're saying, because yeah, okay, so this one is about my husband. So back in 2014, it was around February of 2014, and there is this thing that and if you ever have the opportunity to do it, it's really fun. They're called gallery readings. This is when more than one psychic will read you, essentially. So it's, like, more than one, and you're probably, like, the only one in the room, but there's, like, 4 psychics, and they're all reading you, like, spitfiring messages. So I decided to do this, and, I didn't know it's funny because my mentor had it on his website. I went, didn't think anything of it. I thought I was gonna we were gonna do readings, but then, it was the opposite. "Hi, Chris." And so we were doing a gallery reading, and this is around, like, again, early 2014. And fun fact, I actually tried to dabble into YouTube back in 2014, but, like, I immediately, like, stopped right there. But anyway, so they were picking up on a couple of things that were accurate, and they got to this segment of how I would, start dating in the month of June. Keep in mind the reading was in February. They're telling me I'm gonna be dating in June. And I'm like, well, that's impossible because I have a boyfriend of 7 years. And right now, yeah, it's a little rocky right now, but we're working through a couple of things. So like I don't see myself really dating or anything like that in June. Like because for me, like 7 years is what I think is gonna happen. And it's interesting because when she said that, in my mind, in my third eye's mind, I saw the Aquarius sign. And I'm like, interesting, that's so bizarre. But they were like telling me how I was gonna meet somebody in the month of June, and they were like picking up these traits about him. And I'm like, but I kept seeing the Aquarius sign. Now I didn't know it then with the Aquarius because I knew there's different like there's the old astrology symbols and then there's like the more modern ones. And so I didn't know what that meant. To me, it looked like water. And I'm like, a water sign? Like that sounds like my boyfriend at the time, but it wasn't. And fast forward, we're in June and my husband at the time had started going to these psychic circles and stuff. And one of the first things he said was that he was an Aquarius. And that vision popped up in my mind. And anyway, so the rest is history. And now I'm married to him, but that was my intuition like kicking in that message. Like, yeah, by the way, your husband is going to be an Aquarius. And he is. So funny how that worked out. Um Yeah, so thank you for asking that. I forgot about that portion of my story with that. Um, I've been great, Chris. It's been a very yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been a minute. I've been taking a hiatus. October was a very busy month, and I was overwhelmed. I think there's just so much stimulation for the month of October. Because for context, I do spooky content. If you guys are watching me on this live and you don't follow me, I do spooky content, paranormal stuff, and so the month of October is naturally one of my busier months. And there's just so much things going on, and I felt like I was busy every single day. And so I decided that going into November and I would get some downtime that I would literally just rest, like literally rest, not think about too much content. Now I did make a video, Chris, if you're still on, or anyone else listening. I did make a video that about paranormal investigators. So I compared four different videos, four different paranormal groups, investigation groups that had gone to the Conjuring House, and I side by side clipped interesting aspects of what they gathered and compared it to other people. And the evidence is really interesting. So if you guys are interested in watching that, it is on my YouTube channel. And I compared footage from Ghost Adventures, another TV show called Mysteries Decoded, Sam and Colby's footage from 2 years ago, and another YouTube group called the Stokes Twins. So I did do that. If you're curious to see whether paranormal investigators do get similar evidence, you can check it out. Um, and let me know what other things you guys want to see on that. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many paranormal investigators out there, and it's interesting because there's so many of them, and there's great people too that go out to these locations, and one has to wonder, do they get the same evidence? It says, one time, me and my friends were using a Ouija board and it told me about a tarot card. I really liked the trace of it and named it. I didn't tell anyone about the card, but the spirit from the board knew. That is so interesting, Kim. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, so for context too, I don't know if anyone like knows about Simon Colby's content, but one of my friends, her name is Pythian Priestess. She's amazing, might I add. She does tarot and she's so good at it. Like hands down, one of the best tarot card readers I've ever met. And she did do like a whole Ouija board ritual on one of their videos recently. And she recommended a book too on the Ouija board. And not many people know this, but fun fact about the Ouija board, the like more safer way, I would say, and like the way that's been deemed as a little bit more, yeah, safer, is that you want to call whatever it is that you're talking to into the planchette, not the board itself. And I guess when people do that, that's when you see all this like interesting stories about it. Oh, thank you, Chris. Yeah, thank you. I want to do more paranormal investigations and add them more to my YouTube channel. I did go to the Queen Mary, so I'm hoping to do a video on that really soon. And then we also did a collaboration. So I do narrate for a YouTube channel called Something Scary, and we did a collaboration with Pete Monsingo. So I hope to get that footage rolled out soon. But again, it's just October was such a busy month, and hi, Alvi. It was such a busy month that I needed to take a break and just, oof, just rest a little bit. I'm feeling a little bit better. The project, though, on comparing different clips from different paranormal teams was really fun. I was actually like very nervous, like watching that, because I'll be honest, you guys, even though I do paranormal content and I love this stuff, I don't really watch a lot of other paranormal investigators. Um, and so when I did this project, it was really fascinating. I did a video, it's already on my TikTok, but you can watch a lot of more multiple different footage on me comparing it, but on my YouTube channel. The NFL doll just moved. I'm sure it did. Thank you, Kim. Yeah, I'm gonna again, and I thank you for the Amityville recommendation. I want to do that as well. Like a side-by-side comparison of them going into Amityville and what did they get? That is a really good thank you for that. Okay, guys, so I've been live for a little bit now. I am going to get off the live stream. This is a lot of fun. If you're on the TikTok side, please check out my YouTube channels. The most recent one again is me comparing different paranormal investigators go into the Conjuring house, and I promise you, you will be amazed by it because I was myself, and I do paranormal stuff all the time, was shocked by it. So I'm gonna end the live on the TikTok side first, and no, I think yeah, I think I'm gonna try to set an actual established live stream schedule. I'm thinking maybe like Mondays and Wednesdays would be better. I'm not sure what you guys think, but Mondays and Wednesdays, I think I want to stick to that schedule first. And then I do really want to roll out. I'm working right now on the paranormal stuff, like comparing different clips from different investigators. And I'm hoping too that the more I do these, I get to incorporate my own footage, like from the stuff from Tombstone or the Queen Mary. Like those are things that I want to incorporate my own footage, like what I got versus what everyone else got. So yeah, I'm gonna end the live though. Thank you so much for joining me on the YouTube side. You guys are amazing, and happy early Thanksgiving. Hopefully you have get a day off, or if you don't get a day off, at least you eat good food, and hang out with loved ones. All right. Have a good day. Bye, guys.